All right, slide on over, Dick. Bring him in. Everybody, do me a favor. Come on in. Watch your feet, Dick. Everybody, do me a favor. Welcome Mr. Dick Heller from Heller versus District of Columbia to the podcast. What's going on, buddy?
Well, we're about to go live very soon. We're drumming up knowledgeable people that want to learn more about their Second Amendment rights so they can defend their homes against any kind of criminal invasion. We did everything we've accomplished without violence. We did everything through the courts. We did everything through lawful means. And we've accomplished a lot by going all the way to the Supreme Court over a period of time to defend every legal citizen's, law-abiding citizen's right to keep and bear arms, protect your home, your family, and of course yourself.
That's right. Show him, Dick.
This is the Heller gun that you can find on HellerGunDude.com. And we have t-shirts, we have paperweights,
Got it. Go ahead.
We have hoodies like I have on right here. Let's see how I can do
it's okay.
this.
I got it. I'll show it to him.
I love this part right here, especially.
Yeah. It says Heller on it. That's right. So this is the Heller Gun Dude keychain. You can go to HellerGunDude.com. We got the keychains out right now. We got the hoodies, the t-shirts, and the sweatshirts coming out. Dick and I are partners on this. A large portion of the profits that we make go right into a nonprofit organization where we help people. Dick has his own nonprofit called the Heller Foundation, and I have a nonprofit called We Support People. And a large proceeds of any profit that we make goes directly into our nonprofit and our trust foundations so that we can help people. If you want to support the Second Amendment and you want to support Dick Heller, go to HellerGunDude.com, pick up your keychain. We have a paperweight, we got t-shirts, and we got hoodies. So Dick, tell me a little bit. So people have heard, if you haven't heard of Heller 1, let me explain it to you. Dick Heller became a police officer specifically because Washington, D.C. had passed an ordinance that said that you couldn't have a pistol in your home. It was the beginning of sweeping pistol legislation around the country.
And I was a cop.
And he was a cop. I'm sitting next to an ex-cop. This is the reason why you don't want to kill these people. You don't want to kill cops. Dick is no longer a police officer. And I only say that because Dick is with me.
I'm retired.
And he's retired. And Dick watches these videos with me and he screams and yells with me. Why is he entering his home without a warrant? I mean, how mad were you when you saw this earlier?
It falls under the category of corruption, my number 2 passion.
Yes.
To fight.
Yes. And so what we're doing together is we're showing how two people from different sides of the spectrum can come together in the name of our civil liberties, in the name of our constitutional rights. This is why I tell you, don't shoot and kill police. Dick was a cop, and we wouldn't be the friends we are today if I was saying, oh, you should go out and no, you should not do that.
Collect evidence and handle it civilly in the court system, and you can win.
You can win. So now in 2006, when Dick went down, did you file for a permit for your handgun in 2006?
Yes, I did.
Okay. So Dick went down to Washington, D.C. to the permit office and filed for a handgun for his home. And when he did that and they denied it, it gave him what's called standing. So Dick Heller you went to the state court first, right? Or no, I'm sorry. Was it Maryland or was it district court first?
Well, D.C. is not a state, so it's just called the district court.
So you went to district court.
And Judge Urbina said Heller has been denied his right for Second Amendment. He did everything available to him. He exhausted all administrative remedies because he had gone down and tried to file and do it the right way. Heller was denied his Second Amendment right. He exhausted all administrative remedies. Therefore, Heller has standing, and the case proceeded on into the federal system.
That's right. So he went to circuit court, and circuit court, he won, and he got the right to go against the ordinance of Washington, D.C., and he was allowed to take a pistol home. Well, the District of Columbia then appealed for certiorari to the Supreme Court. And when it got to the Supreme Court, Dick was prevalent again, and he won. And that meant all states all over the country then began to lose their right to ban pistols in your house. Is that right?
That was the start of it. They had to go through something called McDonald versus the city of Chicago to show that gun rights were authorized by the Supreme, not authorized, were recognized by the Supreme Court everywhere outside of DC, and it was called the Second Amendment is incorporated in the whole of the country, all states and territories.
What year was that? 13?
That was 2012.
2012. That's right, 2012. So if you don't understand exactly what that means is that if your Second Amendment right wasn't incorporated into your state, that the federal right to keep and bear arms wasn't incorporated into state rights all the way until the year 2012.
With federal force. You see, some states had constitutional carry where you need no paperwork to own a gun. You didn't need permission from government to exercise your Second Amendment rights to own a firearm. But McDonnell made it very clear every law-abiding and lawful citizen had the right to keep and bear arms, own a handgun, as well as any kind of long gun.
That's right. So it's similar to what the 13th Amendment did in 1865. Different states had abolished slavery, but federally it wasn't enforced. Different states could have their state rights. And that's why you heard Nikki Haley say how, oh, it was a states' right issue, the reason why we went to a civil war. No, we went to a civil war because of slavery. And what happened was then when Abraham Lincoln wrote his Emancipation Proclamation in 1862, the 13th Amendment is going to be passed in 1865, and then it became incorporated into all the states where slavery would be abolished.
Indeed. And then that began the source of all gun bans. We don't want those free men having firearms. They shoot back.
Now, Dick, you're a MAGA guy. You're voting for Trump, right?
Certainly.
Okay. So I hate Trump. I can't stand Trump, right? I want to show you something here though, right? So now you're a MAGA guy, you're voting for Trump, but you're still for our civil liberties and our rights.
Oh my God. That's foundational to our survival, our existence, our right to life.
That's right. That's right. So I want to show you guys something. I hate Trump. I think he's a criminal. I think he's a scumbag. I think he's a pig. I hate Trump. I hate cops.
We're still buddies.
You don't have to hate your neighbor or someone who's going to vote for Trump or Biden or Kennedy. You don't have to hate each other. We still agree that we deserve our civil liberties and our civil rights. We still have the same ideologies. Now, Dick doesn't call them pigs. He calls them police officers.
Only the bad ones. Only the bad ones are called pigs. And even I don't do that. I just call him a rotten officer. I've said to a cop before, when I was in uniform, I was doing nothing wrong. A cop thought I was driving. And I said, "Sir, you're a disgrace to your uniform." And he said, "Get back in that car right now. No violence." I said, "Yes, sir."
I would have told him to eat my shorts and that I have every right to stand outside of my car. Detainment for Terry policy doesn't mean you get to tell me I have to stay in the car. Detainment means I can't leave, and I agree to stay right here.
It eliminated the violence. All I got was a $35 ticket. Okay. I didn't have to face gunfire. I didn't have to shoot back. I didn't have to hide behind my car, jump in a foxhole. Okay. I just got in the car, avoided violence, took my $35 ticket, and went down and complained about it in court.
Right.
Life is simple.
That's right. So right now, Dick Heller's channel, Heller Gun Dude, is open, and we shot the first 10 videos with him today. How'd you do?
I think it needs a redo. I don't think you're ever as good as you want to be, as hard as you try.
Hey, I just saw a comment here. Let me help you out with something. You said, "Aw, a white man." Let me tell you something, brother. We wouldn't be free if we didn't work together.
My gun trainer is black as coal and as conservative as can be, and we chest bump like brothers whenever we happen to meet.
Don't let them divide us by race. We're all in this together. Don't let them say, "Oh, white man, oh, black man." Black supremacy is as disgusting as white supremacy. We cannot be divided by race or who you vote for or what your favorite color is or if your eyes are slanted, if your eyes are round. We cannot let them divide us by if you love dogs or hate dogs, if you like Trump or hate Trump, speaking of dogs.
Certainly. It's not about color. It's about character. Look at my friends. You'll see that what I'm saying is true.
It's absolutely true. So HellerGunDude.com is up. You guys can pre-order right now the Heller Gun Dude keychain. And can I just tell them what we're doing with the money?
Sure.
Okay. So what Dick and I have done.
Patriots.
So go ahead.
We're supporting patriots like people that have suffered in the video you just saw. because those rotten cops, corrupt cops, arrogant thug cops, not myself, those guys you saw in the video, they need to be challenged. Okay. They need to lose their authority to shoot people, invade homes without a warrant. And you saw the results. It is just senseless.
How disgusting was that?
There's no words when you take a life.
It's not worth killing each other over, and it's not worth dividing each other over. But
yeah, I have a phrase I like to use.
Hold that 1 second, Dick.
Once again, it's Tarzan and their male ego. There's just no place for it.
Yeah.
It's the male ego that has to be satiated. And I've heard it said that the police line is a good way to do it, but there's no place for that because we have a constitution that allows us to protect ourselves and protects ourselves with a Fourth Amendment. Eighth Amendment is undue punishment, imprisonment, and when you murder somebody, a murder by cop, that violates the Eighth Amendment. Undue, what's it called? Undue
seizure.
No, Eighth Amendment is undue punishment.
Oh, cruel and unusual punishment.
Cruel and unusual punishment.
Let me get more specific with what we're doing with the money. We have actually pinpointed lawyers all over the country. We've already spoken to those attorneys, and we're putting them on retainer. The money that we make from Heller Gun Dude is going to fund freedom fighters who have a bar card all over the country. I'm not going to give the list of the lawyers just yet. It'll come out on the website, HellerGunDude.com. And that's what we're doing. We've already contacted a half a dozen attorneys who we have set up to put on retainer every month so that they can focus on fighting for our first, our second, our fourth, our fifth, our eighth, our 10th, our 14th, our 15th Amendment. Well, 15th Amendment is the voting, but we still have to fight for it. So that's what we're doing. And we partnered, a little over a month ago?
That's when we basically bumped into each other, yes.
Yeah, and that was
serendipity. There is a gun God. There is a freedom God. There is a righteousness God.
Yeah, that's right. Michael Eline was the one who introduced us. And then I went down and I met with an attorney in San Diego who's one of the top Second Amendment attorneys in the country. I told him what our plan was that Dick and I had devised. He's all in on it. Then I called a lawyer up in Michigan. I said, hey, would you be interested? He's all in on it. Then I called a lawyer in Nevada. I said, are you interested? He said, I'm all in on it. I called a lawyer in Texas. So we've established that there's a group of men and women who are attorneys that want to fight for our constitutional rights. How many people in here have ever been looking for an attorney and you can't find an attorney because there's nobody who will help you? And so that's what Dick and I have done. And hold this 1 second, Dick.
Certainly.
So just like we do, now you can get the Heller Gun Dude hoodie with the Heller Gun Dude on the side of it. We're branding Dick Heller because he is a national treasure. There's the back of the Heller Gun Dude hoodie right there. I'm sorry. You got to talk for me. They can't hear me.
Heller Gun Dude hoodie. Yes. And there's the front. I love that logo. Did you notice in the front there's a bullet zinging through it? That's what it's for. Bullets to protect your life with, using your firearm, applying your Second Amendment.
There it is right there.
There's the front.
Yeah. And this has been something that Dick and I have been working on since we met each other. When was the SHOT Show? What was the date of that SHOT Show?
Oh, it was about wasn't that July, June, February?
Was it
first part of February? Was it
the first part of February?
Or last part of January? I forgot. Maybe January 20th. So it's about 1 month.
Yeah. We've been working on this for about 1 month, and we have some patriots who have jumped in and they have helped us, and now we have devised these little keychains that you can carry. And the reason why it says Heller on the side of the keychain is because we want to start a conversation. We want you to start a conversation with your friends and family and explain to them that Dick Heller is the reason why we have the right to have pistols today. I mean, I'm not overstating this. I'm literally telling you the God's honest truth that without Dick Heller, we would not have a Second Amendment. They were encroaching on it dramatically. And so just so you know, when I met Dick Heller, our phrase is, we don't stop. We don't stop. I sat down, I interviewed this man for an hour and a half. And then I asked him, I said, so you did Heller in 2008. I said, what's after that? Go ahead, tell him what's after that.
Well, then came Heller 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6. And right now I'm working on Heller 10.
And it's the year 2024. We don't stop. When I met another man who refused to stop fighting for our rights, I said, "Are you branded, sir?" And he said, "What do you mean?" I said, "Has anybody branded you? Has anybody made it so that your name is the brand?" And he said, "No." And I said, "Well, that's my specialty." So we began a little over a month ago. And all we've been doing since then is talking on the phone every day, collaborating every day. He was just sick for the last week, and then he got better. And I came and I've been working with him constantly on getting his camera presentation down. I hope everybody goes over to Heller Gun Dude on YouTube. Hold this, I'm gonna pull it up. Let me pull it up for them. The website is now live. You can pre-order your. Let me see this right here. There it is. Okay. Here it is. We have this live right now. Support the Second Amendment right here. We have it ready to go. This is about Dick Heller. His website's now. This was the first prototype gun that we built. Obviously, this is not the one I'm showing you today.
It's a little rough.
That's a little rough. You can donate to this. We don't even have the hoodies up there yet. We have the T-shirt. We have the hoodie, the T-shirt, and the paperweight. Oh, Dick, tell them a little bit about the paperweight that we have coming out.
Well, it's an AR. It's about 8 inches long. It is beautiful, and it has the big brand name Heller written across it. So anyone that has it on their desk is going to say, "Oh yeah, I'm not going to let that case Heller get out of my mind. I'm going to support Heller. I'm going to support our patriots. There's a lot of people that are being attacked needlessly, and they need our support." And
right.
What we do is we find the lawyers. And what motivated me, can I tell them about Cho?
Go ahead.
The one thing that really made me mad and said, I'm a senior citizen, but I have to keep rolling because I heard this story. I got a call from a journalist in Taiwan. It said, Rich, I have a friend in Massachusetts who's in trouble. Could you call him and talk to him? Well, in 2013, the Epic Times did a story on Mr. Yu. His last name is Cho, C-H-A-O, Chow. And what I found out in this newspaper article, so it's the God's truth, is that he had helped New York Times, the Wall Street Journal, Legacy Media break through the Chinese firewall before it even had a name. Chinese firewall. And of course, being in China where they watch everybody do everything, he got caught. His penalty was 10 years in a Chinese torture prison. And they just threw his wife in for 10 years also for good measure, for no particular reason, because that's what tyrants and thugs do. So when his prison term was up, they were happy to let him out of the country and send him to America. And he came here legally on a persecution visa, went to Wisconsin, where gun laws are almost non-existent, and legally was able to buy an AR-15, a 30-round standard capacity magazine. And eventually, for some reason, his career took him to, guess where?
Massachusetts. When I went to Massachusetts and I went up there, I had my guns on me. And then I found out that when I crossed the border into Massachusetts, I turned into a criminal.
Yes, and there was a case called Donnell versus Massachusetts that was decided in August of just last year. It's a case study worth studying for people that are in trouble for possessing an AR-15. But the point is that Mr. Cho was pranked with a red flag. And the FBI went in, called in the local police, of course, and everything was good until they found his AR. And they said, "Oops, what do we have here? You're in Massachusetts and you have an AR." And the bottom line is he was able to make bail, but he is now awaiting the 26th of February, just a couple of days away. He has a decision to make. We have him the best lawyers we could find. We think we're still looking for more. He has a decision to make. And how would you like to make this decision just for owning a long gun in the wrong state? He has to choose between 18 months
in a federal prison.
If he pleads guilty. If he doesn't plead guilty and he wants to fight this case, his potential sentence is 10 more years in a federal prison in the land of the free and the home of the brave after escaping communism. That ain't right. And we all know it.
That's not right.
That ain't right.
That's not right at all. And let me tell him another one, Dick. So then additionally, Dick was also contacted by a woman. What's her name in Texas?
Oh, Angeli Gomez.
So Angeli Gomez was the woman who went to Uvalde to
Follow me. I'm going in.
That's right. That she went to Uvalde to go get her kids out of the school where the cops were all staged outside because for officer safety, they couldn't go in. And so Ms. Gomez went to go in and the cops grabbed her, put her in torture cuffs, belly down. Then they left her because they were all confused because they were beta males. And then she slipped the cuffs, jumped the fence, went in, grabbed her kids and a couple others, and ran out of the Uvalde school where the kids were being murdered. What happened after that?
Saved at least 4 kids. And when she went public on legacy media, the police, I think I would have to call them corrupt police, didn't like that and started harassing her, parking their cop cars down at the end of her street and flashing the lights just to let them know that she better be careful and maybe she shouldn't go out at night. It was total harassment. And I think for that, some people should be held financially accountable.
Yeah. Well, and so what's her, Elaine was her first name?
No, Angeli.
Angeli Gomez.
Yes, her give, send, go is Angel Gomez.
Well, what we're going to do is we're going to raise the funds and we're going to sue those pigs for now. He didn't finish the story. So after she jumped the fence and then tell what happened. Tell what the cops did after that, Dick.
Yeah, I just did.
They went and stripped her kids away.
Oh my gosh, I left that part out because she worked in an onion patch or an onion farm, which, she wasn't very, she wasn't living the dream life America. The Child Protective Services came and said, oh, I think it was a garage. She said she was living in a garage and they said, you don't have any curtains and you don't have a kitchen and we're taking your kids. So interestingly, she said since then, her uncle gave her $200 so she could buy curtains for the garage they were living in. It just makes no sense. Why would you come and split up a happy family and take their kids? She's lucky she didn't get shot in the process. You know that?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And so Dick, when we were in Las Vegas and he said to me, hey, Chille, can we do anything about this? Can we go and talk to the cops or talk to CPS?
Help her.
Can we help her out in any way? And I said, Dick, confronting authority is my specialty. I would be more than willing. So Dick and I decided that we're gonna start Heller Gun Dude, HellerGunDude.com. Please get your hoodie, your t-shirt, pre-order your keychain, pre-order your paperweight with the AR-15 on it. And so he has a hat that says Make America Free Again. We're also going to start making these hats, but it wasn't on the agenda until we got together this weekend. And so I'll get those hats done in the next week or two, and you guys will be able to get a hat as well. And what we're going to do is we're going to go to Uvalde, Texas, and we're going to get a lawyer, and we're going to sue everybody who took her children. Every single person who had a hand in taking her children. If you cops wrote a police report in an effort to try to take her children, we're going to sue every single one of them. And we're going to try to hold them accountable. And boy, it's going to be a scene.
Do we show our hand like that?
What's that?
Do we show our hand like that?
Oh, they can know we're coming, baby. They can know. You pigs can know we're coming. We're coming.
We keep everything close to our chest so that when we file our complaint, it's a surprise.
Oh yeah,
we do it differently.
Yeah, today's world is media. Media is the way to set you free. Hold this. Let me pull up your YouTube real quick. Go ahead, Dick.
So this is going to be a day. We hope it's going to be a day of reckoning. That's what I'm expecting. You can't take someone's kids just because. And that, to me, that's the motivation. We don't like it. We stick up our nose, and it's just because we're tyrants and we have that authority. And in my speech, I like to say, where do they get that authority? It's because we can. And then it takes citizens $1 million in fighting back just to get what's yours that should not have been taken in the first place. Your door being kicked in, your house being ransacked, your kids being taken, told you're not good enough. It's just disgusting. We have a constitution. It's the foundation. It's our rules. Those are the rules we live by, and the rules apply to everyone.
Oh, so right now, what Mr. Heller, I'm sorry, The gun dude. He doesn't like to be called Mr. Heller.
That's my father.
Yeah, that's his. He likes to be called the gun dude. He doesn't like to be called Mr. Heller. Every time I say Mr. Heller, because I show respect, he says, "It's gun dude, please."
Oh, my father's not here. My dad's not.
I mean, you still got 40 more years, right?
On target.
On target. And Dick is sharp as a tack. You have no idea how sharp this man actually is. He is. I mean, you should see when we take Uber's places. He's telling the driver how to go there. He's saying, no, go up here, take a left, and then take a right on second. He's explaining them how completely just fast as a laser whip. And so I showed the website right here. Here is the YouTube page.
I hope my wife listens to this.
Oh, she will.
Here's you say I'm sharp as a whip.
Oh, you're sharp as a whip. Here's Heller Gun Dude YouTube page. We have videos coming out on Heller Gun Dude YouTube page starting tomorrow. Tomorrow, Heller Gun Dude. I'm dropping the link down in the chat right here. I apologize if we were going too fast today. As you guys know, Team DLZ is one of the fastest growing channels on YouTube right now. But I want you to do me a favor. I want to make Dick Heller's channel one of the fastest growing YouTube channels on all of YouTube. So I need you guys to share it. Share the website, Heller Gun Dude. I want to make sure that we support this man. He doesn't stop. He doesn't stop. He won't stop. I asked him today, I said, "Hey man, can you keep up with me?" And he said, "Can I keep up with you? I can keep up with you, young man, anytime." I mean,
I'm just a kid. I'm just a kid.
He said, "I'm just a kid still, and I can keep up with you." So what we need you to do right now is I need you to go to HellerGunDude.com and pre-order your Heller Gun Dude keychain. We're not putting any chains on them. That's up to you. Whatever chain you want to put on them, it's perfectly fine. We're going to have red, blue, purple, gray, transparent red is really, really cool. We're going to have all of these. The paperweight guns is really, really cool. It's Heller versus DC versus Heller because they're the ones who filed for certiorari.
They did.
That's right. After Dick Heller won the case at the circuit court, then the District of Columbia filed for certiorari, and that's District of Columbia versus Heller 2008, HELLER. So let me ask you guys a question. I was just curious. How many of you guys would get a hat if we had a hat? Because we did hoodies, we did t-shirts, but we didn't do any hats. And when I got here, he said, "We got to get a hat."
This is unique. This is my own invention. I patterned it after Make America Free Again, Make America Great Again. We need freedom. Then we will be great. It's automatic. If you have economic freedom, you have greatness. It's A plus B is C.
So what Dick is really upset about right now, what the gun dude's really mad about right now, is that the Tenney versus Brandoff case of 1951, where legislatures, judges, prosecutors have qualified immunity and they're not held accountable. What were you saying at dinner tonight? That,
oh my God, they put up a dam. I call it a dike, and I go back to the image of the young Holland child with his finger in the dike. What we have to do is that dike for us in America represent the legislative immunities, the police immunities, teacher immunities, all the level of immunities that the tyrants have put up between themselves to protect themselves from us and try to take our guns in the process so they would never be harmed. We need to find a way, if there's a dike there of legislation and there's a hole in the dike, we need to figure out how to make that hole bigger, climb through that dike and grab legislators and people that are illegally exercising their legislative authority, grab them by the throat so that they can be forced to pay financially for the things they've done wrong, the people they've harmed.
he's not a shrinking violet. Do you see why this guy and I get along like bread and butter? Because he watched my arrest last week of me being arrested. And he was like, "How can they arrest you just for filming them? You were outside
walking down the street outside the crime scene." Oh,
it just does. You know, when you're a freedom fighter,
no words.
Go ahead.
There's no words for it. It's just irrational.
Yeah, it's unbelievable that I've been arrested. Incomprehensible that I've been arrested. I've been arrested twice in 2 years in Las Vegas, and my only crime was pointing a camera at those coppers. And so I'm really excited for what Dick and I are doing. And to the attorneys out there who are definitely watching right now, we're going to have you guys on retainer real soon. We're going to try to get as many products as we possibly can out into the public. And we want you to talk about it. We want you to talk about Heller versus District of Columbia. That's why it's on your keychain. It goes right on your keychain. We want you to talk about Dick Heller and what he has done.
Hopefully you'll dangle your keys around and it'll be a good conversation starter for people that are anti-gun. They say, ew, what is that? And say, oh, well, hey, this is your right to defend yourself. And it started back in 2008 and come up with a story that you've researched and you understand in a few words so you can explain it.
That's right. And so, I want to, there's a friend of mine, an old friend of mine named Drew B. Drew, the letter B. When I had been in Hollywood for a few years and I had been influenced heavily by the left. I used to be on the left and I was influenced heavily on the left. What's that?
I voted for Jimmy Carter.
and so my friend Drew B, he's the one that turned my head in 2005 or 2006 and said, Chille, there's no way you can be the studier you are from you being no-knock rated and researching all this constitutional law, and then you could be against our gun rights. I wasn't against our gun rights. I just thought, what do they say? Sensible gun legislation.
Yeah, don't you pack?
Yes.
Yeah, how can you be how can someone think you're anti-gun when you pack?
Well, when 2005, after 3 years after I've been no-knock rated, I thought that the words sensible gun legislation made a lot of sense. Sensible gun legislation.
Yeah, sensible, take your guns.
Yeah.
How sensible can you be?
Yeah. Sensibly sign up for a registry. Sensibly sign up and tell them where your address is. Sensibly tell them who has the guns and where, right?
Oh, yeah. I like telling my story. When I bought my first gun, I live in Washington, D.C. on the Hill, and to buy a gun, I had to go to America. So today it would be an absolute crime to carry a gun across something called the state line. But back then, we didn't have any gun stores. It was the district didn't like guns in the city, and they had the highest murder rate. They were called the murder capital of America at the time. So I said, I was out of I was a paratrooper. I was out for about at least 5 or 6, 7 years, maybe. I said, I should have a gun like Gunsmoke, Matt Dillon, my hero. So I drove to America, bought a gun, and drove back home with it because there was no such thing as frontiers in those days for Second Amendment. And 3 months later, the city said, well, we've just passed a gun ban. If you own a firearm, if you own a handgun, you need to throw it in the trash, turn it in, register it, or you could go to jail.
That's right.
And I said, I didn't like going to jail. Why would I don't want to throw it away? Why would they want me to register it? And I didn't know anything about politics. I didn't know anything about the Second Amendment. I said, I got to thinking about it. It took me about 3 or 4 days. The first day I said, well, why would they want me to register it? Duh. And the second day I figured, well, they want to know where I live. Well, why would they want to know where I live?
So they can come take you and take your guns.
So they can come and take my gun. And I said, it took me another day. I said, how can I respond to this? They want to take my gun if I register it. And I was very bright back then even. So I made a very intellectual decision. Ain't doing it. And that's what started the legal battle.
Yeah. And so tell them exactly why you became a cop and tell them a little bit about Dane.
Oh my gosh. My buddy Dane was a reader at law in Vietnam. And serendipity, there is a gun God. He put us together just like God put Chille and I together. And you want me to tell the story about the Olympic shooter and everything?
Yeah,
that's a long story. No,
okay,
just for right now.
Just go into
I got it.
Okay.
Dane said, I'm going to go to law school. I don't even want a degree. I just want to know how to build a case to protect our Second Amendment. And like a band of brothers, I continued his sentence by saying, and I'll become a cop. I'll have some sort of standing, whatever that means. I've got a gun and we can challenge them. They give me a gun, but they won't let me have a gun. I can protect them, but I can't protect me. My light bulb came on. We lived in a society. We were living in a society not unlike the old Soviet Union with a two-tiered society. I'm not sure much has changed today. Do
No.
Okay. No. Some people can get murdered, and the killers can get away with it. And so that's what was the kernel of study and research that got us into the courts, building a network. Nobody wimps their way to the Supreme Court. You have to have a team. And what Chille and I want to do is we want to help the patriots that need it the most to build a team. So we can get them standing, and we can get the proper representation with the best Second Amendment constitutional lawyers that can be had in America. And there are a few good ones. I know most of them.
Oh yeah. And so, I'll give you a little bit of the cliff notes. So I'm 49 years old, and Dick was older than I am now. And when he moved to DC, he got a roommate named Dane, who was an Olympic shooter and also a doctor. Dane was brilliant. Dane has passed on since then. Brilliant. He was a brilliant guy who was a doctor and an Olympic shooter. They became roommates. And when Dane pulled up to the house, he had a trunk full of guns, handguns and all kinds of stuff. And Dick said, they're passing ordinances where you can't have guns in Washington, DC. And then Dane said, well, let's get these to the basement. So
he said, right. No. You've got to get him out of town. We'll go to jail. Right.
So they sat around, two dudes having a brew and saying, hey, how do we take this on? What are we going to do? They mulled on it for a little while. Dane comes bursting in the door one day and goes, listen, fudge this. I'm going to law school right now, and I'm going to challenge the Second Amendment ordinance that they're passing here in DC. And without skipping a beat, the gun dude said, then I'm going to become a cop. And then I'm going to get standing to be able to bring my pistol home. And so then he became a cop, got immediately assigned to the Supreme Court, to the Annex building, and was ushering Supreme Court justices back and forth. Of all the people who were challenging the Washington, D.C. ordinance that you couldn't have a pistol, he was the only one that went down to the city office and applied for a permit. And when they denied,
it did not go unnoticed that the plaintiff worked in the Supreme Court and was protecting the justices.
That's right. And so when he applied for the permit, and then the District of Columbia denied his permit, that's what gave him, the only person of 24 standing. He got standing to sue the District of Columbia. He did, and he won. And that's why we have a gun on the patch of this t-shirt now, and on the hoodie as well, because now we can have a gun. Because of Dick Heller, because of, you guys don't understand what this guy has done. When Michael Eline, God bless you, Michael Eline, when he introduced me to this man, and I was, I studied Supreme.
Chille's going, what do we have here? I'm sure. Can I believe this?
Yeah, I absolutely could not believe it. And so
in front of me is this dude.
Hold this, I'll show him. Go ahead. Take over.
Oh. And then when I realized that the anti-corruption that he stood for, I said, oh my God, being a cop, one of the worst things in the world is a bad cop. Corruption, I couldn't get over it. It was amazing. So I have trouble adjusting my hat here online, obviously.
This was Heller and I think we did 3 dinners together over the SHOT Show. We did 3 different dinners where we sat down and talked for hours and hours on end and got to know one another. And I said, Dick, listen, we can create a brand for you that is going to really make some funding, but I don't care about that. I care about what are we going to do with the funding? What are you going to do with the money? And Dick said, we're just going to keep on funding freedom fighters. There's people all over this country who need help. And right now, with some of the proceeds of you buying a t-shirt, a hoodie, a paperweight, or a keychain, we're going to fund the attorneys for Chow in Massachusetts. We're going to fund the attorneys for Gomez in Texas. We have to hire attorneys because I have lost in federal court so many times because I'm pro per. I don't have an attorney, and they screw me over. And we're not just hiring any attorneys. We're hiring the most badass attorneys ever.
Yeah, but we talk to Chow every day.
Yeah. And is he on house arrest?
I'm not sure. We don't talk about that. We just talk about the quality of lawyers and what his schedule is. And we talk very briefly just to get the basic elements of what's needed.
That's right. And it requires money. Am I wrong?
Nobody knows how much it took to get to the Supreme Court for Heller case number 1. And if you said $1 million, you'd be very close. It was $1.2 million. And what I don't quite understand, it's one of those legal mysteries. Why did Heller 2 and 3 cost, surprise, $1.2 million? I can't figure that out.
I may have said pro persona, pro se. Pro se. So listen, I'm not an attorney. I don't speak great legalese. I'm a constitutional law scholar, understanding the foundation of our rights. I've had long lectures where I teach this stuff. So I'm not perfect. I apologize for saying the wrong thing.
I can tell your followers that I'm not a lawyer either, but Chille is such a constitutional lawyer. I've attended one of his impromptu lectures. I was blown away. I didn't realize how much I didn't know. Still to this day, I probably have about 5 times more to learn than I already have.
Well, I was just fortunate because when I had my wall set up, the history of the Supreme Court cases, what I did was I had Dick in the office and I was able to just break down the Supreme Court. And this reminds me. So Dick can attest to this. He's MAGA. He's Trump. He's on the right. He's going to vote for Trump. We don't agree. Trump's a piece of shit, but he's going to vote for him. That's fine. But are most all gun laws based on racism?
That's when they started. Right after the black men, freedmen were freed from slavery, then all of a sudden you had the South was filled with what's called black laws,
Black codes.
black codes.
That's right. That's right.
And they were designed to make firearms illegal for black people, freedmen, and also if there was not a legal reason, then they made it unaffordable with taxation process and licensing processes. My gosh, don't we still do that today in DC?
Yeah.
Licensing?
Yeah.
Taxes?
And the licensing process of the 1911 Sullivan Act out of New York City was passed specifically for what color people?
Wasn't white people.
And it wasn't just brown people. It was
freedmen, slavery.
Freedmen, black men. It was specifically passed so black guys couldn't have guns. The 1911 Sullivan Act is the template for almost every single state constitution that includes you have to have a permit for a gun. They copied the Sullivan Act in Massachusetts. They copied the Sullivan Act in New Jersey. The Sullivan Act, which is based on making sure blacks couldn't have guns, are the exact same thing you sign up for to get your gun permit today. I just wanted to show you that he's not Nikki Haley. He knows exactly why these gun laws were created, and it's absolutely preposterous on its face. So let me promote this one more time. I want everybody to get over here, get to Heller Gun Dude on his YouTube. Let me refresh this real quick and see where we're at. We're at 199 subscribers over here. And this is HellerGunDude.com, where you can support the Second Amendment by getting your keychain, getting a t-shirt, getting a hoodie, getting a paperweight. It's not on there yet. You can't donate just yet. We don't have the donation set up yet. And we're going to do our banking, I believe. Where'd you say that we should do the banking at?
Wells Fargo.
And why are we banking at Wells Fargo?
Well, I'm not sure they want to hear this, but when every other bank, major bank was blacklisting, or what was that word called? There was a phrase where they stopped, they froze accounts for anyone involved in activities that the federal government didn't like.
Anti-patriot?
It was something like choke.
I can't remember.
Choke point?
Mm-hmm.
There was some sort of choke point. I'm not as sharp as a tack. I forget some basic things.
Well, it's also almost 9:30 at night here in Washington, D.C. So
Operation Choke Point, wasn't it?
I can't remember, but we'll look it up as soon as we get off this live.
So anyway, Wells Fargo harkens all the way back to when I used to watch Lash LaRue movies for 6 cents. Maybe it was 6 cents for both myself and my brother. And Wells Fargo was in every Western movie I ever saw. And when I was 6 years old, I said, when I grow up, I'm going to be part of Wells Fargo. So now I'm one of their most avid clients. But the point is, they were pro-Western back then. They're still pro-Western today, pro-Second Amendment today. They're the only ones that didn't kick everybody's gun, kick everyone out of their account just because they had the Second Amendment issues or bought guns or had a checking account and was a gun owner.
Yeah. So I'm not sure what's going on with Derek Morris. I'll just stop for 1 second. Derek Morris is a member of Team DLZ. Derek, don't hesitate to reach out to me if you're going through some stuff. More than willing to reach out back to you and make sure that you're okay. I'm sorry that you're distraught. I'm really sorry that you're going through a hard time right now. Everybody, if you would please throw up a prayer for me for my friend Derek Morris. He's a good man and he's going through some stuff right now. And then Gloria's promoting the Gun Dude over here. Thank you so much. All right, Dick, anything else you want to say to the people?
Support patriots, support the Second Amendment. Go to HellerGunDude.com and you're not buying a t-shirt, a hoodie, or a paperweight, or
Keychain.
A keychain gun. Okay. What you're doing is you're supporting a cause. You're supporting the Second Amendment and helping patriots in need out.
Yeah, that's exactly correct. That's exactly correct. And remember that my special for the next 24 hours is if you buy a trifold, I will give a trifold to someone who can't afford one. And I'm also going to give you guys a set of cop cards, a set of these Fifth Amendment cop cards. Whoever buys the trifold, I'm going to give you a set of cop cards. And then I'm going to give away a trifold to somebody who can't afford the $25 trifold where you invoke your Fifth Amendment right. And earlier I was talking to Dick and I said, I said, you're fighting for the Second Amendment. I'm fighting for these other amendments. And Dick said, oh no, Chille, I'm fighting for the first. I'm fighting for the second. I'm fighting for the fourth, the fifth, the eighth,
sixth.
All of them.
Yeah, all of them.
Every one of them.
Yes.
And we don't stop. We do not stop, and we are not going to stop.
I don't know how to stop. It's what I do for sport.
I said to Dick, you mean you don't want to just go off fishing and retire? And he said, this is my sport. This is what I do. He's at Heller 10. When I met him and he told me, I said, so Heller 1, I said, what have you done since then? And he said, oh, you mean Heller 2 or Heller 3 or Heller 4 or Heller 5 or Heller 6 or Heller 7 or Heller 8 or Heller 9 or 2024 is Heller 10. I said, how can I support you, sir? In which way can I help you the most? You tell me how you need to be helped. And he said, Chille, we need to be able to have freedom fighters all over this country. And I said, I'm all in.
People understand the Constitution.
That's
their
right.
rights.
That's right.
You have the right to be left alone and not have your door kicked in because someone wants to play macho Tarzan, male ego. It makes no sense.
What do you think of that copper that ripped open that trailer park door and decided to have a gunfight?
Wasn't he sort of like an ape in the jungle is going to rip this branch off for no particular reason? Maybe he wants a leaf or something. I think that guy the cop was after some brownie points for just another random arrest.
Yeah. And the attorney, the one of the prosecuting attorneys said, give him a ticket, but don't arrest him. And then he just decided he was going to arrest that guy. It's like,
well, I didn't want to say it, but what you have there is the foundation for a lawsuit where he actually violated legal advice and legal authority. If she was in authority over him, he violated it. How did he get off from that? Murder.
I don't know. I mean, murder. And they said he illegally broke into the home, but he didn't didn't commit murder. I don't understand that at all.
You've said it all.
Okay. All right, listen, guys. It's late here in DC. We have had the gun dude and I have had a super long day. We did all of his filming today. We have more filming to do tomorrow. Go to hellergundude.com, get your keychain, your paperweight, your t-shirt, your hoodie. And then what we're going to do tomorrow is we're going to start to release videos on Heller's channel and on my channel. We got to get this man to 1 million subscribers. He is an absolute national treasure. And thank you guys so much for being here with us tonight.
If I had a last word, I would say watching that video, it was painful.
Yeah. Especially because the citizens are going to violence and, you got everything done without a single bullet being fired.
That's the way to go.
Yeah.
You'll live to see tomorrow.
You can't go to violence. It's not going to help our team. I know you're mad. I mean, listen to me. I'm mad. I know that you're mad. I understand that.
It's simple. When the cop says, put your hands behind your back, you go ahead and do it. You have your cameras, you have evidence, you'll have standing, and you can win. And then that's what Chille and I are going to do. We're going to win some.
That's right. We're going to have the financing to be able to help you sue them if you got it on camera. Do not go to violence. Don't become that. Don't become them. You know what I'm saying? We're doing this so we can finance lawyers to help people who nobody's ever heard of. You never heard of Chow before. You never heard of Gomez before. None of you have ever heard of those people. And Dick found these people found Dick, and we're going to help them. And we're helping Chow now. We have the best attorneys we can possibly have for him in Massachusetts, but it costs money. And so we had to figure out a way to brand Mr. Heller, the gun dude, so that we could continue to make sure that we have people in place to fight for our freedoms. And that's the whole point of what we're doing here.
What's really great is I've gone through a lot to accomplish what we have, but I've got Mr. Energy here, Mr. Energizer Bunny.
I tell you guys that I don't ever stop. If you don't believe me, you can ask Dick. I never will ever stop.
Yes, we did. 2:00 last night. We stopped.
Yeah. At 2:00 in the morning last night, we finally said, we had better get to bed or we're not going to have a day. And then I slept till 10:30 or 11 o'clock. I was just exhausted. I was awake for 2 days straight. I'd been
I
awake for.
was afraid at 2:00 we'd get our second win and we wouldn't go to bed at all.
I mean, really, it has been such a pleasure working with this man. Do me a favor, you guys. I'm going to break this video into two because they're going to demonetize the video and put it in the cellar. So I'm going to take this video, cut it in half. The first half where we showed the murderous pig, and the second half, the introduction to Mr. Heller, to the gun dude. Sorry about that. And then. Yeah, and then what we're going to do, Drophead 74 is here, Gloria's here. Can I get an OTVO in the comment section? Overturn Terry versus Ohio. Can you put it in the chat for me? Ryhoot is in here. Mingo Wingo is in here. Manny is in here. Right over here, you see this? Lester is in here. Good Times is in here. I Am God is in here. Gloria is here. Thank you so much. Michael, In Qualified Immunity is here. It should say Overturn Terry versus Ohio, but that's okay. I support you anyway. Captain Blakebeard is fighting in the comments. He's fighting these pig suckers in the comments. He's an absolute warrior in the comments. Wait till you go read his comments. He's a big time fighter. Life Under is in here. Gabriel is in here. What is going on? Robert, how are you? Brandy is here. Thank you so much for coming. Mr. Bones is in here. Let's go OTVO. Brandy Swaney is in.
1,000 people in there. You can't address them all. It would be great if you could.
There was actually 1,400 people in here a few minutes ago. We're at half those numbers now. Now we're at 700 people, but we were at 1,400 people earlier. There's so many people attaching. Make sure you guys subscribe, like, share. It's unfortunate we have to say those things, but we have to get our message out. We got to get as many people as we possibly can.
Don't go to violence and bring your friends into the website, into the blog. Don't go to violence and show the keychain gun and bring your friends into the network.
Yes, absolutely. All right, listen, folks, I got to get the flock out of here. Chevy! Did I see Felicia in here earlier? Thanks for coming to my TED Talk. Are you going to step out?
It's been a pleasure, folks. Thank you.
Okay, I'll see you in a few. So there it is. Now you guys know the reason why I didn't go live yesterday is I was shooting content with the gun dude the entire day yesterday. Ms. Constitutional Rights is in here. Thank you guys so much for coming. I really, really appreciate it. I am absolutely spent. I have been going hard. I mean, hard for the last few days. I was awake 2 days straight at one point. So I'm just absolutely beat. You know, get a trifold in every car. Make sure you guys get a trifold. If you guys buy a trifold today, you can contact me. Give me someone's name and phone number that you want me to send a free one to. I don't have to give it to a random person in the crowd, but I do have to sell these so we can always make sure we have money. I'm not ashamed to say it at all. I'm running for governor. I'm going to ask you to give me your money. I feel no remorse about that at all whatsoever. These politicians are taking money from special interest groups that want to strip away your gun rights, strip away your First Amendment. They're being funded by Republicans, and Democrats are being funded by people who want to make laws that they have to blur the body camera of the face of the cops. Well, if we allow that to happen, then James Sheets, we never would have known they were saying, I'm hot, I'm hot. Don't say anything. I'm hot, I'm hot. I'm going to sue the state of Nevada for blurring out the face of the pigs on body camera. So I'm going to constantly ask you to give me your money. I need it. I need you to buy my products. I need you to share this stream. Wait till I cut this in half and then share the video with the gun dude. And we need to just keep going. We cannot stop under any circumstances. Under any circumstances or any conditions, we don't stop. I got to get the flock out of here. I'll see you guys on the next one. Later, Gators. I think we did a great job, Dick.